Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are going to repaint a Hammond collection Carnotaurus. I recently saw that these were up on Target's website for a little bit of a cheaper price. They were like $25 or something like that, and this will actually be my third of these figures already. I actually got two from Amazon. I ordered my one originally that came right away, then I ordered another one after that, and then I ordered this one from Target, so I may actually repaint the other extra that I have as well at some point. But this time I'm going to give this the Jurassic World, like, demon, I guess you could call it that, Carnotaurus paint scheme, because I feel like it would just be fun to have one in that color scheme. And with an extra here sitting here, again, I just had to order it because it was a little bit cheaper, and I did plan on doing some repaints. Why not get one done already, again, in that kind of, I guess you would say, demon Carnotaurus paint scheme, and see how well I can replicate it, because I actually have not done that paint scheme yet. So let's go ahead, pop this out of the box, and get started. So I went ahead, got the Carnotaurus completely painted up with the territorial beige. I also kind of chipped off the horn here on purpose, of course, because that's the way it looks in Jurassic World Dominion. So I actually used a razor knife. So if you are on the younger side, make sure you either have your parents' permission or have them help you with it. I used this to carve down that horn so that I could get the horn in the correct, at least close to the correct size. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some pavement gray, which is a very dark version of a gray, and I'm going to completely cover this figure in it. And again, you might wonder, why did I even bother with the territorial beige base coat then if I'm just going to do that? The beige color will actually kind of creep through some of the areas of the dark gray to just add a little bit more, I think, to the paint job, something I do quite often with my models that usually works out quite nicely. So let's go ahead and get that done. So what I'm basically doing is painting this in a way where it's not super thick in some areas. You can kind of see where it'll almost end up like a dry brushing in certain spots, although the brush definitely has a little more paint than you would see usually for a dry brushing. But that allows the beige to creep through some of the areas of the scales, and I think that just adds a little bit more realism to the paint job. So here's what we are left with now. Our Carnotaurus is looking very, very dark gray, and that's what we want. I'm actually using this image here as a reference for this paint job. And one thing you'll notice is it has a lighter gray, but still kind of dark and dull, for the underbelly here of the Carnotaurus. And what I'm going to use to achieve that is pewter gray. And I actually use this for a lot of my repaints because it is a very good color that works with so many different paint schemes. And I'm going to again use it here for this Carnotaurus. So we've got the lighter variation of gray on the underside of the figure. Starts here in the lower jaw, runs down the neck, it runs under the arms, along the stomach, up into the stomach a little ways, also on the back of the thigh and calf, and then runs out through the length of the tail. What I'm going to do now, and this may not make sense to some people, but works for me, is I'm going to take some black, and in the dark gray areas, I'm going to just randomly put it there throughout, just to add a little extra color variation to the Carnotaurus and just give it a little bit more, I guess you could say, depth for the paint job. I'm not really sure how you would term that, but let's go ahead and get some black on it. Now I'm basically just going to, for the most part, dab it on because I feel like that's an effective way to achieve what I'm going for. So now that's done, and the next thing I'm going to do is take that same black and I'm going to very nice and lightly dry brush out all of the detail on the black areas of the Carnotaurus, and it's going to blend all of the dark gray and blacks together, but I think it's going to give it a really nice look overall and also again highlight all of the scale detail. Now we've got our Carnotaurus, and it's very nice and dark. The black is as dark as, well, the dark gray and black combined is as dark as it could probably get. We've also got the lighter tone for the underbelly. Right now is a great time if you want to go with the more, Kenner version of the Demon Carnotaurus to add the reds to the figure. However, I'm going for the Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and Dominion style Carnotaurus with the more Demon Carnotaurus look from that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this pewter gray that I put on the underside and I'm going to use it to very lightly dry brush out a lot of the detail over top of the black that I just applied, again, that I just dry brushed over, because the Carnotaurus in, Dominion and stuff, like, it's not quite as dark as we see here. So I wanted to darken the scales enough that when I then apply the pewter gray to it, that they won't be quite the same shade exactly as what we see down here. It'll just be a little bit darker, and it might sound stupid, but it's gonna work because I've done this type of thing before. So we'll go ahead and get that on there. So the next step is going to be, and you can see my bottle is an absolute mess, but we are going to take some Tuscan Red. Now the reason this is such a mess is because I actually have this very watered down, and I think when it comes to applying different things like this, like patterns and stuff like that, it always helps to have your paint watered down pretty good, and I definitely have that here. You can hear very watery. So I'm going to go ahead and start to apply this red basically from the head all the way out to the tail. I just knocked it over because there is like a section of the dinosaur that has this red kind of sporadically through the course of the body. You can apply it however you would like. If you want to go the classic, Kenner route where you just kind of basically do like a patterning moving through, or again replicate the Jurassic World Dominion version, some nice watered down Tuscan Red is the key. So we've got the red applied, we have it up here in the face, obviously all up here in the face. It runs along the top of the body, following along all the way out onto the tail, and there are also some areas on the feet that appear to have that red from what the image looks like. So another thing we're going to do from this point, we're also going to take some ripe tomato, which is like a reddish orange sort of tone, and we're going to apply that specifically in the palette. There should be a little bit of it there, but also randomly through the course of the body, because there are some orangish tones kind of mixed in with the reddish tones. So I would say the Carnotaurus is just about done. The only thing I really need to do at this point would be to paint the eyes. I'm probably just going to give them a brown and then a black pupil, and also paint the nails, which would be a black, because I think that's the coloration of the nails. One thing that I did do though is I painted the inside of the mouth. I painted it a dark gray because apparently that is the coloration of the inside of the mouth of that demon Carnotaurus in the film, so not really anything flashy going on in there. I also have to paint the teeth. To paint the teeth, I'm going to use some chestnut brown. I'm going to paint them initially in chestnut brown, and then I'm going to go over them with a satin paint of toasted marshmallow. And I'm just basically going to try to leave the brown closer to the gum line, and then paint them to the toasted marshmallow as we reach the tips, of course, with the majority of the teeth being painted with this coloration. It'll help to give it a little bit of a realistic look, but that's something that's going to take some serious precision and, you know, up close attention to the model to get it painted correctly. So that's why I'm not going to do that on screen, and it would just be easier to do it, you know, without actually watching me do it, because I got to get really close to get it, you know, perfect. And I'm also going to then take the pewter gray and just dry brush over the horns as well to kind of bring out the detail for those. Just really little minor things at this point, I think, that I need to get done before the model will be officially finished. So I'm going to go ahead, finish it up right now, give the inside of the mouth a gloss coat, the eyes and everything, because I didn't keep the glass eyes. I'm not a big fan of those, so I'm going to paint the eyes myself, obviously, and then we'll come back and we'll check it out from there. So our Carnotaurus is finished, and the only other thing that I added to it after I had finished filming that last part was I did put a little bit of this on the inside of the mouth, kind of like just dry brushed it over in a few certain spots, just keep it that dark coloration that we see, but to add at least a little bit of extra coloration to the inside of the mouth. And I also went and painted the eyes with a nutmeg brown, and then put a little of this dolphin gray inside of it, and then of course a black pupil. After I was fully finished painting the figure, I went ahead and sealed it with this. I often use Tester's dull coat to seal my models, but recently I've kind of moved over to this. This is a brand that you can find at Walmart if you happen to have a Walmart near you, and in fact, like most of, if not all of the paints and everything that you had seen in this video were all found at Walmart, so a lot of this stuff you can get pretty easily if you do have a Walmart near you. But you can see this is the matte finish version. It does, depending on the amount that you spray on it, kind of give it a slight satin shine, like barely. And that's kind of what I like, because it helps to make the model stand out usually when I seal it. So definitely enjoy using this. And then for a gloss coat, I also use the same thing pretty much, but as far as the gloss finish goes. So again, for like the eyes and the mouth and stuff, I use this. And then here is the Carnotaurus now fully finished and looking pretty decent, I think. I feel like for the most part we've captured the likeness of the Carnotaurus from Jurassic World Dominion and of course Fallen Kingdom, because this Carnotaurus does appear near the end of the film. And overall, I'm a fan of this coloration. I don't know what it is about it. It's just always been something I've been very fond of, whether it be the old Kenner version of this or this version again with the Jurassic World Dominion and Fallen Kingdom kind of color scheme. I've just always really liked it. You can see the reds down there on the feet. And I always thought it just looked really cool as far as a coloration for a dinosaur. It just works so nicely with the red playing off of the black. I also added some of the scars. There are some pretty significant scars on the head of the version, again, from Jurassic World Dominion. I didn't add all of them because they're not actually sculpted into the model. And I could have tried sculpting them in, but or carving them in, I should say, but I didn't do that prior, so I did just add one little scar here and then a small one right here. So maybe this is that Carnotaurus kind of in the middle of the injuries, you know, when some of the injuries had already taken place. Some of the other injuries, I guess, would happen at a later date. You can see, again, the inside of the mouth does look really cool. Definitely keeps the dark tone of color that you see on the Carnotaurus in the film. But the figure, again, the sculpt of the Carnotaurus from Mattel is so unbelievably beautiful. Like, they absolutely knocked this out of the park in a big way. I feel like it's probably Mattel's best sculpt that they've ever produced. And again, it's so fun to repaint. I'm definitely going to have to repaint more of these Carnotaurus in the future. I kind of would like to do kind of like the novel version is something I've considered doing, because I just feel like it would be a fun one to paint. And also, I was mentioning how I put the brown on first and I allow it to kind of creep through some of the scales and stuff. You can see it right there. You'll see it back here in the leg and stuff. It's just a neat way to add a little extra, I think, as far as the coloration and a little extra realism to the figures. But again, I'm pretty happy with the final product, and if you go ahead and take a chance on repainting a Carnotaurus, whether it be the Hammond collection version or just any Carnotaurus into this color scheme, hopefully it will work out, you know, for you. If this video helps you, then that's awesome. That's the entire reason why I made it, so that I've had so many people asking me about, you know, making repaint videos, that I felt like I might as well throw one up for this, because I was fully intending on painting this one up. So hopefully the video helps you guys out. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments section what you think about this and whether you're going to take a chance on painting yours or some other Carnotaurus in this color scheme. And also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.